welcome to Young and Free Bridging Generations. Could you please just give us your full name and your background?
My name is Matume Manenje. My background that I'll give you, I grew up in the villages of Venda, Limpopo. Now it's called Limpopo, but it was called Venda at that time. That's where I did my primary up to when I come to Joburg. That's when I did my tertiary level. But everything about me, I'm a village boy, and the rest is just modernized. That's when we moved to this towns and cities.
So, what would you feel has been the evolution of independence and self-sufficiency amongst the youth?
That is a very interesting question. I think independence doesn't change, but independence is also informed by what you consider to be independent. Because you can still be an individual and be independent in making your own decisions, but it does not necessarily mean that you are independent from other people, because we are a collective. So I would say independence, it depends on the purpose, but as human beings, we work as a collective.
That's beautiful. And what do you feel have been the most crucial survival skills for like young adults today?
Yeah. I think the young adults today have a problem that the one thing that they don't do, they don't know how to play. You see, we grew up playing, and then when you play, you learn natural survival skills because you're going to compete with your peers on the field. And then when you do that, that's where you find out that no, sometimes you hit real challenges, and those challenges develop you naturally. So, but if you look at today's world, is that no, we take you guys, we cage you into those nice estates, and then you stay right there, and then you don't learn anything. What you learn on TV. What you learn on social media. But what becomes a problem there is that social media will, most of the time it can be a fake life, because people on the social media, they're not always real. They want to present themselves as real. So you learn to develop your skills against those people, but you miss out on generating your inner strength that comes natural with you. So that becomes a challenge. So then you don't know whether you are surviving, because remember, social media has got bullying, and that bullying can leave you being bullied in the whole world, because whatever you do now can end up being published at the whole world.
That's really true. So, how do you feel like people handled financial setbacks before we had modern banking tools?
You see, that is an interesting one, because remember those days, money did not matter, but survival mattered. And then survival would mean that no, we taught ourselves how to survive with or without money. So that means that now, if we are in a village, we would learn to coexist amongst each other. That's why we used to have people who go and ask for its wine from the neighbors. So then you realize that it was not the money issue, but it was the principle of Ubuntu that made people to be able to survive. And when it comes to today, then you look around and say, yes, we are in the space where everything is it's high demand, especially if you are here in your town life or whatever. There you need money, because even to move out of that place, you need money. So it becomes a difference for a person that stays in your villages, because money is not the real need for survival. But when you are here, it is. So it is crucial to develop skills and ability to come up with means of making ends meet for yourself.
It's actually very true. So, what financial habits do you think are worth adopting from previous generations?
The financial habits that are worth adopting will be resilient is the first thing that you need to understand. If we teach our generation, which is you guys, to understand that When I wake up every morning and go and work hard for you, it did not start today. It started from a developmental stage. Where I come from, what did I learn? I learned the character to survive. And that character is not the character of handouts. It's not the character of receiving. So what we need to teach you guys is the ability to understand that no, nothing comes for free. And then we need to teach you the survival skills that we had, because things have not changed. It's just that the times have changed. But how to deal with things, still the same way. Just that you guys are highly exposed to real challenges of the world, because when you are here, you can talk to the whole world. But it's also an opportunity for you. How do you maximize the access that you have? When we used to use the telephone, like, and then we go to a telephone exchange, and then from there, can you please give me this so and so number? And then they call for that person, and then come back to you. You just need to press a button to do all these things. But it's a matter of how do you use these opportunities and access to maximize the world. But remember, when you do that, you must know that the critical skill that you need is your resilience, and then your ability to listen with an intention to understand. And then we also have ability to assess, identify people who can bring you down. And because that is one thing that creates that emotional challenge. And that emotional challenge is the one that will end up putting you in that cocoon when the world is pulling you outside.
It's very true. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our hot seat segment. So
Hot seat, hot seat, hot
segment.
seat. I like the hot seat. Eh?
And you're gonna let us know if you agree or disagree, and then you're gonna justify. Okay? So our first statement is financial freedom is not truly possible until you stop depending on others for a roof over your head.
No, it's an integration. See, you can still have financial freedom even though you're depending on others. Because for me, when I look at financial freedom, it's your ability to create sustainable financial means of continuous living. So you can't define it as financial freedom, because there's nothing called financial freedom, because life is continuously changing. It's an evolution. Today you can have financial freedom, as we call it, that it's me, I went to school, I can afford myself. And tomorrow the real life of challenges separate you or challenges you to actually still feel that no, that is still the real financial freedom. So I would not define something as financial freedom, but I will define it as the ability to stay in control of your finances, to be able to face the real challenges of life.
That's beautifully said. So the next one is then you're not truly independent until you live alone.
Hmm. Yes and no. If being independent, it's if you live alone, you face the real challenges of life. So it helps you to start dealing with real issues on your own. So it can be a benefit, but not necessarily a definer of whether being there, because you can still live with your parents and still be truly independent. So I guess what we need to do as parents now is to teach the different types of independence and then control. There must be two balance factors. You can be independent, but with control. See, that is why I always say, even now at my age, I still report to my mother. I still tell my mother, hey, I'm going so and so. And then I'm over 50 at the moment. But I still tell them where I am. But I'm very much financially independent. Yeah? I'm in control of my finances. So it's not a define. And but it just helps you. Remember, at the age when people are in a transition to explore things, you feel like you want to do it freely. See, and it's that's not wrong. That's not a problem, but it must be done with the support of those that have been there. Your Zulu saying will always say, "Indlela ibuzwa uphi?" kulabo abaphambili. Yabona? So those that have walked that road would always be there to guide you in your process of finding yourself.
It's actually really true. So then, do you think moving out should be about, independence, not just necessity?
No, moving out, it's building yourself for your future. It is in between a necessity in a certain age of life, because sometimes you may be cushioned by your parents forever, and then you don't realize that some of the things that are the struggles that they used to encounter are going to face you also in life. So how you do it, sometimes you can do it by moving out and staying by yourself and feel it. Or you can still do it while you're still at home, but also allowing yourself to explore possibilities of life out there. I always say sometimes age helps you to be a better person. So when you are young, when you're 18, you're still curious. Everything is just changing in your life. You feel like, hey, you can even have a boyfriend. You can also do that, and then you need your own time. Hey, these people are bang family, Lorna, and then I can't have my own freedom. But there's a reason why they say when you're 21, or whatever, they used to give you his key. So the key is just to say now you can start being independent. Now you can start doing things on your own. But while you're doing that, allow us to supervise you and guide you. So it's just a process. We are allowing the process, right, of passage as and when it happens.
That's true. That's true.
Mm.
So, do you think living alone forces you to face yourself, every flaw and fear you have?
It forces you to face yourself. That's true. However, it can also be a make or break if it's not done in the right way. Or sometimes if it is not done with support. So there's an example that I will give you. You know a dog. Yeah? When you chain a dog and then into a chain, and then the day you release that dog from that chain, what happens? It runs without looking back, because you've given it freedom. So the speed of running out there, you may find that there's a car coming, and then it hit you like that because it's got no control. Because maybe then we have captured you for a long time, and now you feel like, no, I was captured. So between parents and the kids or teenagers or whatever you call yourself, there must be that integration and understanding of changes as and when they happen. And then those changes, then we then cautiously manage them for the better. Some people can be big girls or whatever, but still small yet. So what do we need to do? What's important is to work on the mind, power of the mind, develop the mind, develop the confidence in a person, help a person to know that I am what I am. And then who I am is not because of somebody else. It's what I haven't. So the inner strength of you is the one that grows you, not whether you've moved out of the house or whatever. All right. So there's so many things that need to be taken into consideration.
That's very true. It's not one straight answer.
Mhm.
So, do you think if you cannot afford to furnish your space, you should not be moving out?
If you cannot afford to furnish your space, sometimes you can still move out and learn to live on the floor, and then gradually appreciate the value of your acquisition as and when you achieve. Then you can look back and say, that's where I started. And then that's where I'm going. But I will also say that no, you must be a ready mind and at the right age to start that. It makes your life much easier. Sometimes don't force it. Then do it at the right time. But if you have to, so be it. Live with it and enjoy it and know that no, you should share, and then the rent must be paid, and everything else that has to be done, the rent, electricity, what, no, you have to foot the bill, and then also have a provision of how you're going to do that.
Wow, that's true, actually. So, would you say for those that are living with their roommates, do you think that's a shortcut to delaying your personal growth?
Not necessarily. It depends on the circumstance. Sometimes you can live with a roommate because you need to go through a certain transition. What separates you from the roommate is the ultimate goal that you have set for yourself. So if you understand that, no, this is where I want to go, but for me to get to that goal, I still need to go through certain channels that will develop me for the better. It's I would not look at it as a problem, but I will also say you must do it when you know where you're going. Don't just do it for the sake of I it must be done with purpose. So your key thing will always be, where are you going? What's your vision? What do you see? What do you see in front of your eyes? Do you even see it? Or you're just doing things because you feel like, Nami, I'll look cool. Because sometimes we do these things because we want to look cool. And we feel cool. And we feel like we are in control. So we lose out on the target. What are you chasing? Are you chasing fame? Are you chasing control? Are you chasing access for you to have your friends and your freedom? And then what type of freedom are you looking for? And how is that freedom going to benefit you?
Oh, that's really a lot to think about. So, do you have any final words to tell the youth? Any big lessons you have learned on your journey?
Okay. So life is a journey. And then it's a book for yourself that you're writing on a daily basis. You need to know what kind of a book do you want other people to read. One, are you going to be that book that people will enjoy listening to or studying about? Or are you going to be that book that will be closed on the first page? So you need to know yourself and say that in my journey, where am I going? And where am I? And what kind of tools do I need to get to where I'm going to go? And then what does this world need from me? That on the day that I pass on, the world would have lost and then you would have gained. So people will wish that you're still alive because they still need your value. So that would be a purpose you need to define. I'll leave it there.